Um, Boy, there's a lot of stuff to like here tonight, and it's actually kind of a fun little six gamer. There's not like there's so many good spend ups and so many good ways to build. I feel like, and there's certain value we've got. So there's a lot of ways to go. I'm curious. I liked your preview show. I was curious where you sort of landed on some stuff.
Okay, a couple of announcements. So there's a lot of different slates and a lot of different things going on tonight, and I'm going to be participating in all of them. So at 10 o'clock, I'm going to go live. And so there's the 6-game slate that ends. What doesn't end? The last game of that is 8 p.m. So that slate hopes to probably wrap up around 10:15, 10:20. So we'll get the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes of that. And I'm also going to be playing that 2-game slate, the 9 p.m.er. So I'm going to be, I'll put up projections from that after this slate sort of locks. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be playing that. So we'll have a little sweat in that as well. And also just, because I asked for it, and then they're giving it to us. I'm playing that island game showdown, the Portland, Washington showdown slate as well. That starts at 10. And all that following, and also sweating the last quarter of the football game where Bobby's going to chop that one. I think 4 ways.
I love it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I had the vision. I think 4-way chop. I think you're gonna take. So that's it. I'm gonna have a couple of what my theme of that one is, and we'll probably go live at some point on that. I'm gonna play lines which I think are gonna be unique, which are gonna be extremely duped. That's gonna be my theme.
Your theme. So are we going to go live on that, or do you want to incorporate it into this?
See when I do dinner or whatever. So
yeah, okay. I was going to say because we could throw a few thoughts in at least. On
this. No, let's do that now. So the big news that's pending right now is Sam Merrill. Okay. Yeah. So Sam Merrill is I guess legit questionable because it's coming in late, and it's I really hope he doesn't play because I was going to have a long discussion with you about this one. It just feels like something that's supposed to be faded, even though, you know what I mean? Like you can't think of any reason to do it. Just because of how freaking hot he was yesterday. I mean, he literally was 8 for 12 from 3 or something like that, or 7 for.
Yeah, he ended up 8 for 14, but yeah, he started. I think
and he really didn't do anything else. So that's the type of guy who's a little scary. The other thing I would like to mention, okay, we didn't talk about this. Not that he's a bad player or anything, but keep in mind that Craig Porter Jr. was basically sat like the fourth quarter. They did not close with him literally at all, and he played about 25 minutes.
They brought him in for the most. I watched that game. They brought him in for the most important part of the fourth quarter, and then when the game got to be back in double digits with 4 minutes to go, they took him out. Right? I think that's when it was.
It was 25 minutes though.
I know the minutes weren't crazy, but they also knew it was a front end of a back-to-back where they wouldn't have Mitchell.
Yeah. So and
they had a lead they were cushioning. With
I'm gonna play him.
Yeah.
And even though he's a little bit more expensive, listen, he was not only he was active, he had some block, and he was all over the place. I mean, I like him. You know what I mean?
He's a guy who we were gonna like for a while, I think.
Yeah. But just whatever. We'll have to see what happens with Merrill. And if Merrill doesn't play, then who the hell even even takes that? I guess more. I don't even know who.
Merrill killed Struss last night, for example.
Well, Struss killed himself. I mean,
both things happen, yes, at the same time. But when one guy is literally, he made his first 5 threes to start off. Right. And it's really hard for your other guys to get going when that's what's happening, and that's okay,
But they both played, I think, the whole fourth quarter together. I think.
Right, and even as Struss, he made 6 threes last night. You know what I mean? He still
Well, I think all at the end.
Towards the end, he actually ended up, and the thing that was interesting was looking at the usage rates was. Sam, the interesting thing about Sam Merrill is that, and that's why I was going to play him last night anyway, even before the Mitchell news. He actually is a high usage player, and you wouldn't think it because it's a lot shooting, but still, he is. He's a 25%. He's been around between 20 and 25%. That's pretty high for a guy like him. He had a couple games where he's only playing 7 to 10 minutes, so it's always going to be a little higher when you're playing the scrubs, but. It is an interesting conversation to decide what to do with him. Decide what to do if he's out. I think you just boost up Yang a little bit higher. You kind of want to assume this game stays close with no Zion on the other side, and the Pelicans not a great road team. Cleveland being good at home. You could tell yourself a good story. This game stays close, and I just think it becomes the obvious stackable game, right?
Yeah. One other bit of news we're waiting on is Killian Hayes.
Yeah.
He was a downgrade. So we got to wait on
that.
Yeah,
he was an upgrade actually to questionable. Yeah.
It says down. He was probable, then downgraded to questionable.
Oh, interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't see that then.
Yeah. So we got to watch for that. I don't know how impactful that would be. And that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I'll have to rerun like all of my stuff after Now I'll tell you what I have. What I have now. I mean, it looks very similar to my exposures from yesterday. I mean, let me pull it up. Assuming all these guys play that are supposed to play, which is whatever. Let me just see. View exposure. NBA, DraftKings. I gotta get the right slate because I'm playing like all these different slates. Okay, so I can have not 100, but like 90% Porter, and then currently 70% Merrill. And then after that, I have like 30% of the two Houston guards, the Sexton and Dunn.
You mean the Jazz guards? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. And then 30% Wembanyama, and then Williams. And I didn't get to my first New Orleans guy until I got to McCollum at 26%. I guess that's the scary part, is not having more of the New Orleans guys. Like right now, I only have him, and I have like Najee Marshall and like 20%, only 20% Ingram, 20% Valanciunas. I'm
not buying that. And if that's I kind of buy it because the way that like I don't know what the great argument is, but like Sexton without Markkanen, and I mean, look, it is coming. It is on a back-to-back. It was a game where he definitely tried to get going against his former team last night, and he just couldn't hit enough shots. He still played okay, but I just don't know. Like you have him, Fontecchio, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes, Collins, I guess, kind of done, but like, I guess kind of Olynyk. Like,
right.
Who else is creating shots? Who's scoring here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to score. You're playing a team that's lost like 500 games in a row. Like, and it's crazy to see a game. This is the first time we've done this, I think, all year where we've seen the Detroit Pistons as a favorite. That is just unbelievable.
Jolly came in with a pretty, I think, very reasonable take in the early video that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just simple, but I mean, this is they're now like a 2-point favorite. This is like their chance to win. They're gonna freaking just try to win like at all costs.
I agree.
So if you like the starters and you like whoever, just freaking play them.
Yeah, the tricky part for me becomes the Utah side of it because, I don't think Sexton's a great play, but so is Ingram, so is McCollum, and he's a better play than them. I guess, but he has a very fine. He's not going to set up. He's not going to have 10 assists in the game. I don't know. It's just something about it. It's just sort of tricky for me on the Utah side, and it is the first game. Also, I'm also 90% sure that somebody's going to sit in that OKC game. In the Clippers, on the Clippers side, all the tea leaves are there.
Yeah.
So I think that's the problem I have a little bit with it because, and look, you know me, sucker for narratives. If Paul George is good to go, I think Kawhi sits. If Paul George is not good, I think Kawhi plays. I think Westbrook is good. If he was 6,200, I would just be playing him everywhere. But 7,200 is a little bit tricky when you're not having that big a role. But back in OKC, where they love him, they worship him, maybe he gets some extra run. But the real thing is obviously Harden and Kawhi become priorities, and then we're back to, whether we want to decide Norman Powell, he's a little higher price now, or Zubac. But I think that I think that whoever's not in, whatever two other studs are playing, whether it's Kawhi, George, or Harden, I think those become incredible plays. I think that Wembanyama is an incredible spend up. Giannis is still too cheap. There's a lot of really good spend ups. So the way I tried to narrow it down was basically I just decided I'm not going to play Giannis and just sort of live with the consequences. I think that's wrong. Honestly, if I was max entering, I would probably say, okay, well, Giannis should probably be at 11K, probably be 30%, but he's 11%. I just like the other guys too much. I like Ingram. I like Joval if he plays. If Joval doesn't play, then Najee Marshall becomes like borderline almost lockish. I think the one no one's talking about, or I haven't heard many people talking about, I think Trey Murphy is one of the best plays on the slate in that game at 5,800. And I am going to overstack the Cavs. I'm going to be I'm not actually as even on Merrill. I have him in one of my 3 big buy-ins right now, but I have Porter in every lineup. I have Struss in one out of basically 30% of my lineups. I have LeVert in about 75% of my lineups. I have Niang in about 20% of my lineups. And I am going to bite the weird bullet and just say that what I saw from Tristan Thompson last night was if they're going to play him on a back-to-back, I'm a little bit of a buyer. I'm sorry. I know it sounds crazy, but especially if Joval plays, you're going to need to have Jared Allen or Tristan Thompson on the court. I don't think they're putting Yang. Maybe you could guard him, but I don't think so. So I actually think Tristan Thompson is like a reasonable guy to consider. And I just want to be way overweight these guys. It's like people sort of get tired of playing. And even Jared Allen, I think getting some exposure there makes sense. But the real ones being Struss, LeVert. LeVert's being projected low because he hasn't been. Oh, Killian's out, by the way. That's going to change a lot.
He's out.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. I was going to avoid the Cade Cunningham Ivy thing. I think Ivy is a priority play now in every format. I think he's like a cash game. You lock him in. Forget what the projections say because they're not right yet. But I think you just play Ivy, and I think that you take a lot of shots on Cunningham. That's the main thing with that piece of news, I guess. So Ivy becomes the other guy for me, Ivy or Cunningham.
What about Mr. Morant?
My favorite. Yeah, he's my favorite spend up by a long way.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I think he's everybody's though.
Oh, really?
I think he's going to be like the popular spend up. I just like him too much to not play him here. I really don't. I mean, again, blowouts, weird things, sprained ankles, things happen. Maybe Desmond Bane goes nuts. Even still, I think he probably still gets there in a big way. I do think Bane and Jaren Jackson are incredible tournament plays. I think Vince Williams will definitely be a guy using at least one of my 3 big buy-ins. I just always am going to attack Indiana every time I get a chance. So job against Indiana is like it was the only reason it's not a lock button is because of the Wembinyamas and the Ingrams and all of these 77 to 9,500 guys that I just really like a lot. Joval, both Vucevic, we didn't even talk about them yet. Vucevic and DeRozan. DeRozan against the Spurs of all things too, especially if it was in San Antonio, I'd really buy it. Boy, DeRozan was unbelievable last night. He was so good.
Well, yeah, after a shaky first quarter, but yeah.
No, but I mean, he played phenomenal. I mean, he was 12 of 16 from the floor, and he had 30-something points on 16 shots.
So who do you think? Let's see what we get out of the Detroit.
Like Shea's a great play too. It's just there's so many good plays that are spend ups, but Ja is my favorite.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for the Detroit projections to update here.
Yeah, it'll be. I'll tell you what it'll be.
It's going to be Ivy.
Ivy.
Yeah, and you think Alec Burks gets in there a little bit, or?
Yeah, so that's going to happen. I don't know what to do with that one. Feels very easily fadeable. If the game was in Utah, I'd get a little Burks revenge thing going. I just think it's too thin. Like, I mean, you have guys like Simonic on a team with a 9-man rotation on the other side at 3,900, where he may play only 5 minutes, but he also might play 35 minutes. I don't know. I just would rather Najee Marshall at 4,100. We still don't know about Joval yet. I just think I like the other guys better, I guess, is the best way to put it. I'm also curious who they start tonight, because Isaiah Stewart's projecting to be started by most sites. Saberson is not buying it, I don't think. And Bagley, again, looks like a reasonable play, but I'm not personally doing it tonight just because it's the first game and there's other information to wait on. Yeah, I just want to remind everybody with the Asar Thompson thing. Remember, Killian Hayes missed the last game too, and Asar Thompson played all of 18 minutes. So I love Asar Thompson as a player. I am not playing any Asar Thompson tonight. At least as of right now, I'm not. I would much rather play Trey Murphy. Just go for absolute ceiling.
I mean, just so you guys, if you didn't know already, if you are going to dabble in that late slate, LeBron is not playing. So all the usual guys from the Lakers who would be more viable if he's not playing are going to be viable. We'll see what the projections say, but I imagine the usual Austin Reeves bump, among other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and AD, you know.
Well, AD, obviously, yeah.
I think they're going to get smashed.
Yeah, the spread's only spread's 8. That's a number.
Yeah, I mean they're facing a team that's just much better than them. The real, if you're going to play a guy, just play the guy who's going to get up a million shots while he's in there, and take a shot on D'Angelo Russell.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Reeves will get a bunch of shots.
Who'd you say, Reeves?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Russell going back to Minnesota, they got rid of him from this exact team. Like these are all of his ex-teammates, so I'm buying that. D'Angelo Russell's one. I'm never usually wrong on him. I'm not saying he's going to put up a bunch of fantasy points, but I'm telling you he's going to take like more shots than he ever takes tonight. But yeah, and look, everybody's funny because there's a lot of hype around the Lakers and like what they're like the 4th favorite to win the title. This team is like a 500 basketball team. Like it's kind of crazy, and they will be after tonight. Yeah, I mean, other names that, you know, so the ones I have the most of right now are Morant. I have 30% Sexton, 30% Dunn, 30% Wembanyama, 60% Ingram, 100% Porter. One guy who I ended up landing on just because I needed like to fill it out, and I didn't mind just that I ended up there, was like such a it's not like a play I want to make, but like I needed like 6K and I needed a center, so I was 6,100 and I played Brook Lopez in the lineup. You know what I mean? But I certainly wasn't trying to play Brook Lopez. It just was something that happened. You know what I mean? There's six.
I totally forgot they were playing Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's just like it's a 6-game slate. Like feels pretty comfortable for a 5X type of spot. Orlando is going to be worse defensively. I know people are going to have a hard time wrapping their heads around what I'm going to say, but like they're going to be a lot worse defensively with Wendell Carter back, even though he's actually like a decent help side defender. He just doesn't, his rebounding skills, he just doesn't have like the ability to box out enough. Like he just makes a lot of like really technical, like obvious mistakes, and they always give up too many offensive rebounds and things like that. I'm also curious if they play Isaac on a back-to-back. I know that he's supposed to play, but just something about that feels a little funny.
I just saw a bump in projection on Bagley for some reason.
Yeah, I think they must have announced maybe he's starting. That's what I was saying. It's like I think other sites were projecting him not to start, but it seems like he would start.
Yeah, I mean I got him like 25 points
now. I don't have him officially.
I just have a projection.
No, I was just taking a look. Yeah, look, the answer about the Westbrook thing is you have to have one of Paul George or Kawhi out. And then even still, it's a little bit fringy. But I will take a shot on Westbrook if Paul George and Kawhi are out. But I also think you could also just play James Harden or the other one. Just play any of those guys, and I think you're going to get, you've got massive upside. And I don't really know how you fade. I think Paul George is going to play, and I think that what's his name? Kawhi's going to sit. Yeah, Kawhi's out. There it is. Which means
there it is, huh?
Yeah, I bet you were about to get George is in for sure. I think George is the play right now.
He's the rested one.
And I think that you do your large field play. Wait, yeah, George is in. Okay, thanks, Fingeler. Yeah, that's exactly how I thought this would shake out, and I really like Paul George.
I like Chet from that game.
Yeah, why not?
I like Walker Kessler from the Utah game.
I hate Kessler. It's hard for me to talk myself into a back-to-back playing center.
That's not Tristan Thompson.
When the only position you have like a ton of stuff at is center. Like they can play Hendricks, they can play Simonic, they can play Olynyk, they can play Collins. I I just don't think coming off the injury, I'm going to play 6,600 for Kessler tonight, personally. Maybe I'm just bitter because he destroyed my lineups last night.
Jalen Williams was showing up as a good player earlier today.
He's fine. Everybody on OKC and the Clippers now are all totally in play. Like, they're all decent play. They're all good plays. The natural thing now, I'm probably going to take a little less jaw just to get a little bit of. I'm probably going to try and find a way to play both of them.
Well, we're waiting on Sam Merrill right now.
I think he's going to play. He said he expects to play.
Oh, he did?
He just said it, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
No, you do not play Harden with George and Westbrook. That would be terrible. I mean, it's the kind of matchup where maybe it could, but I mean, like, just remember, like Paul George was out last night. Westbrook played 23 minutes. We're just betting on the OKC thing, but you don't play those guys. That would be terrible to play all three of those guys together with all the other stuff out there, in my opinion. I think you could definitely play Harden and Kawhi. I also think that game sort of screams like the Clippers have been on fire. This feels like the spot where the winning streak comes to the end to me. I feel like they get smashed. I hope I'm wrong. What?
Who do they play?
OKC.
I mean, okay.
You know OKC's got like the third best record in the NBA, right? Times have changed, my friend. They're one of the.
I feel like they were just tanking.
They're one of the title favorites. This is no joke.
I feel they were just tanking like 5 minutes ago.
No. They're there now. They're ready. This is their.
We're also waiting on Valanciunas for a little bit.
Shea, let's see. Giannis is available. Wow, good, because I didn't know that he was even questionable. I do have again, I'm going to try and go live for this thing. I'm a little under the weather. I know I'm drinking a thing here, but it's because
so let me tell you what's happening here. So this is my construction advice. You can tell me the player advice.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. What's going to happen is it's going to feel like a tricky thing to do, but I think a lot of people are going to do it. So here's my advice. What's going to be a real popular construction among people that play like a bunch of lineups is they're going to stuff in like Kyron and like all the good plays, and they will play all these different variations of the cheapos from New Orleans. Like they'll play between the Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson and Kirkwood, and you just name like all these guys. You know what I mean? And you're gonna. And that construction is going to be, I think, actually pretty popular, and it'll be more Duke than you think. If you really want to get different on the slate, you won't play all those cheapos. You'll play like the mid-range ones, sort of, but just not play Kyron in the captain, for example. You know, and maybe not even play Olave in the captain, because that's like the natural other thing people will do. Like do something like stupid, like put like Rashid Shaheed in the captain, maybe, or how about Nakua, something like that, and not get into that guessing game with all the cheapos. That's my construction advice. The other thing is, if I hear one more person tell me what a terrible play Derek Carr is, I might end up having to play him in the captain. You know, I'm just a little bit annoyed because obviously, like he's going to get vultured and all this stuff. But the fact is, he is a quarterback. You know, it's not like. You shouldn't. If they make the mistake of making him like 6% owning the captain somehow, I'm gonna have to try it. But that's my.
Every time you do that, I agree with you.
That's my overall take on the showdown. So
I agree with you. I'm not. I'm just like, look, Kyron Williams is, I think, pretty clearly the best play on the slate. There's no way in the world I'm going to captain him. In my big buy-ins, I just am not going to do. I just don't buy. I don't do that in showdowns.
Yep.
Look, it's a different thing. But for my hand-built things. I think Nakua is going to be the second highest owned player in the captain.
Higher than Cup or
Olave? Higher than Cup, I think. I think it might be close-ish, but I'm okay with going with Cup. I think Williams might end up being like scary higher owned than people think. It's also like they're really good against the run. Not that it matters that much because Kyron's going to have a game no matter what. Like I'll have 100% Kyron Williams. I'm just not going to captain him. I think you have some really good options. Like it's going to be really uncomfortable to pay that price for Higbee as the captain. but I will take that gamble. This used to be the best team in football against the tight ends. Now they're one of the worst. And Stafford loves Higbee, so I am okay with Higbee. I like Kupp, and my super sneaky one that's going to be my highest owned, and he's going to be completely unowned, is Tutu Atwell.
Yeah,
because he had the concussion. People are not going to consider this, and they're going to assume DeMarcus Robinson gets everything. They like Atwell. We've seen Atwell outscore Kupp and Nakua twice this year, so I'm going to take a gamble on that one.
All right, so this is like my question to you. Who knows the Rams? And this is like the one like maybe the 0.01% guy. They I want to get the name right before I actually say who it is. But they activated him off of injured reserve, and just for fun, the Rams do have like a $200 running back, and that would be Ronnie Rivers.
Ronnie Rivers, yeah.
Yeah, they activated him off of injured reserve, and he went through walkthroughs, And I know that Royce Freeman's going to get some ownership. I mean, like not that much, but in those constructions I told you about, where the people are like we in and out cheapos or whatever it is, he's going to be like maybe 10%, and I don't know. Is Ronnie Rivers? They thought enough to activate him. I don't know. It's like, and he's only 300.
In fact, I have one lineup with Skwarnik, and I might use Ronnie Rivers instead. It seems like a little bit of a better idea.
Skwarnik. My first runs with trying to be like unique in like 40% Skwarnik. So I had to get rid of all that.
Yeah, but it's crazy though, because what's funny, Sheik? There was a week like this last year where it was like Skwarnik wasn't even like talked about by anybody, but
right.
then all of a sudden, like he had like 9 or 10 targets or something crazy, and he was
right.
And the Rams just do stuff like that, so it always is worth it to take shots on these. Like I would rather take shots on the Rams cheapo weirdness than I would the New Orleans, and even the Rams cheapo weirdness is really mostly Atwell for me, and maybe DeMarcus Robinson, but. Yeah, people are saying Kawhi's out. Can you confirm that? Because everybody's questioning it now. We don't have I can't find it anywhere else either that Kawhi is officially out. And Pingler told us he was, and
I'll find it.
I don't see it yet, but I my assumption. But if I hope that's not an opinion stated as fact. It's one thing we got to be very careful for.
I mean, we're not. No one's doing anything to confirm.
Well, no. I'm just saying that, but I don't want to leave a show, which I'm going to do in 2 minutes.
Oh, so this is what one's saying. It's somebody saying that we usually see Kawhi on the court before the home coach speaks, and he's not there now, so would not be surprised if inactive. That's the tweet. And
I was already speculating that he is. Yeah, definitely. So it's uncertain. So we don't know for sure yet. But I'm gonna, and it is important because we may not know before lock. Like.
Oh, and I played a little last night and did well for me. He must have played like 100 minutes with 5 fouls, but he did some stuff. It was Amir Coffee.
Yeah, I ended up with him too.
And they kept on making a point that he's playing with 5 fouls, like he was such a big deal. You know what I mean? But he played like the whole fourth quarter. He got a couple of threes. Yeah, he got there.
Yeah, like in the previous generation, the way DFS used to be played with the pricing and everything, he would be like the example of the worst guy to ever play in like the 3,500 to 4K range. But in the new version, he's like the best guy to play because 12 fantasy points to 20 is like good enough. We don't need any ceiling.
I don't know if this was relevant. We've been thought about. Marcus Smart is out.
He's been out for.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just reading what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see anything confirmed with Kawhi either.
Yeah.
But that seems like a reasonable.
Yeah, Jaden Ivey's going to end up now being one of the most popular players, I think.
Is he? I get up. Yeah,
just looked. Yeah, he's projected at 30 fantasy points.
And there you have it, huh?
And I'll probably play him in 60%.
Yeah, but now there's like 3 guys, right? Now 3 guards, right? Or is Ivey a small forward?
Ivey's a guard.
So now we have him and Merrill and Porter.
Yeah, Merrill is less of a priority for me personally, but Yeah.
which is just going to make Ja like not much lower owned.
I just the thing is that he can't though, because he's such a like his price with this team the way it's currently constructed against Indiana should probably be like 10-5 or 11.
Anything on Valanciunas yet?
Interesting. Suggs is out.
Suggs is out.
I don't think that's going to do enough because they still have. Well,
Wait. Ingles is out.
Cole Anthony, I guess, is the answer to the Suggs thing.
Did you hear that though?
Ingles also is out. I think Ingles was already out.
I didn't have him as out. Okay.
Oh, really? I don't think he's played in a while. Maybe he has. Maybe I'm wrong. No, you're right. I think no, you're right. No,
that's for Orlando. That's 2 Orlandos.
Yeah, I had him projected out. Like he was projected out all day.
Oh, okay.
He hasn't played.
So Ingles out and Suggs out.
It's just Cole Anthony, I think, or if you want to play Paolo and Franz, it's a boost up. It's kind of a weird boost up though for those guys. I want to just like go through this really quickly. Wendell Carter's back. Jalen Suggs is the lowest, is far lower usage than Cole Anthony is by like a ton, like less than half. So it does sort of help the other guys. It could just be as simple as saying maybe Cole Anthony. The thing is, the matchup is so great for Orlando because the Bucks play so fast and don't play defense that I think you kind of are interested in them. I mean, everybody in these game sheets tonight, like there is not one of these 6 games where I'm just like, oh, I'm not interested in that game. I think there's like incredible plays in every game. I don't remember having a slate like this recently.
Yeah, Ivy, Cade.
Yeah. That game is, I mean, Utah only has 9 guys that are like, so projected to play tonight. Utah has, I guess technically they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. Yeah. They have 9 bodies. And they're on a back-to-back on the road. And they don't have any of their guard. They lost their 2 highest usage guards and their highest usage player in marketing. So I'm starting to feel like I kind of need to play. It sucks though, because oh boy, if it was another team, I could just talk myself into a blowout. I just don't see how they're going to get blown out by Detroit. Ugh. Hate the Utah Detroit's the first game.
What? Oh yeah.
I just wish I could get some clarity on this Clipper situation before I commit all that money. I think I'm just going to assume though.
You're going to assume what?
That Kawhi is going to sit. I'm just going to build my lineups as if he's sitting.
Okay.
Which means that lots of Harden, lots of. I also think that there is risk though. Like that's a dangerous game. Like that OKC team, like they don't always just beat you; they'll beat the hell out of you. Like they are really good and they're really deep. And they're playing really fast, and it's a second of a back-to-back for the Clippers, not for them.
Yeah, Ivy is not going to be 0.5% owned. What is he going to be owned? I'm getting Ivy a 24-point projection. That's not that big a deal.
I don't think that's a real projection.
I don't think it is yet either.
Because he was projected at 30 every game with Killian Hayes out, and that's right where he's been at. So I don't see it.
What about, I don't know, Burks being back? Does that do anything? The Sasser playing?
A little bit.
I'm just reading names.
Sasser's been there. I mean, he got in foul trouble in that last game, so he had to sit most of the first half, and he still ended up with 30, 25.
Keldon Johnson is in. Kawhi is out, it says, and PG is in.
All right, that's what I thought would happen. So that's unfortunate a little bit.
Kawhi out, Paul George in, Keldon Johnson in, and that's what I have so far.
Okay, I'm going to update everybody in the premium Discord. I'm going to get out of here and finish my builds.
Okay.
Is that cool with you, Sheets? Are you good?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
All right, bud. Do you want me to leave it running?
I might again. I don't know if I can make it for the showdown or whatever. But
Yeah.
Worst case, I will see it. I'm going to be there at 10 later.
Okay. All right. I'll jump in there. Yeah, I'll definitely jump in.
Okay, later.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.